Let me give you a little bit of information about our fact that we videotape these sermons. We don't videotape the songs because we don't have the license for that. But we videotape the sermons and we put them on YouTube. And of course, you have that directive on the back of your bulletin if you're watching. But we got something like 19 views on Vulgar, which I thought was interesting. We've had 26 views on Enjoyment.
36.
Huh?
36.
36 on Enjoyment. 26 on Is God Real? And 19 and 11 and so on. So we're having the opportunity to be able to come to people by having it on YouTube, and they themselves ask us into their homes. You know, when I was a younger guy, went down to a seminar in San Antonio, Texas, and the lady's name was Popcorn, and she said that there's going to be a trend, and it's going to be called cocooning. And people are going to want to be in their homes. They're wanting to be surrounded with their own stuff, safe, not out where they can be shot at, not out where they have to deal with other people and shopping. And you know, we have a lot of that. And so, I'm not shooting, but I mean, a lot of people shopping from home and even just driving up to the store, opening their tailgate by punching a button. People put the food in there. They hardly talk to them. They punch the button and go home. So here we are, and we're able to be invited into people's homes by these videos, and they're listening to what we have to say. And I'm very excited about that. And so I just want to let you know what was going on. Now this morning, we're talking about the way of Abel. Now, the Bible never says the way of Abel. The Bible does say the way of Cain. However, if you have an up, you know there's always a down. If there's an in, you know there's an out. If there's an on, so it's easy for us to be able to determine the way of Abel. Let's take a look at the chapter 4 of Genesis and verses 1 through 10. Let's see what God has written for us to be able to gather from this. Remember that Adam and Eve had sinned in the garden. They had left the garden, and we know that they had children. We don't know how many they had. But these particular children were mentioned, and they were Cain and Abel. Here we go. Adam lay with his wife, Eve. She became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, with the air of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now, Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought forth the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. But Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Then the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you had done what was right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master it.
Amen.
Now Cain came to his brother Abel. Let's go out in the field. And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. And the Lord came to Cain and said to his brother, where is your brother Abel? I don't know, he replied. Am I my brother's keeper? The Lord said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Powerful words. Now listen to what we're talking about today. Abel did what was right to do. Now we know by looking at all the sacrifices that were to be done and all the things that sacrifices were to be of animals and not of fruit, although there was some of oil and so on. But God had specifically, obviously asked them to do a particular kind of sacrifice. And what Abel did was accepted, and what Cain did was rejected. I kind of think it looks like James Hayes, don't you? Cain. But anyway, I was thinking that when I was trying to read the word rejected. So we've got an idea now of the way of Cain and the way of Abel. The way of Abel was he did what was right to do. From the beginning, it was always following God's commands. When God talked to Adam in the beginning, it was to do what he commanded. And Jehovah God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day you eat of it, therefore you will surely die. So he warned him, here's what you do. You can eat anything you want to, but not from that tree. Basically what he's saying is, for you to continue living, do not eat of that tree. And Adam knew this. He even told Eve. I thought it was interesting, the picture here, the way the artist put that kind of twinkle in Eve's eye where she did something devious and she handed the fruit. And by the way, it looks like pears to me there, Gary Willis. But they ate of the fruit, and what happened was, then they knew sin. They knew evil. Before, all they knew was good, or what was right to do. And so because of this, there were going to be problems in the world. Had Adam and Eve had been successful and never sinned, then who knows what would have happened. Maybe the rest of the world never needed to be. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. We are so fortunate we were born to be children of God and live with Him in heaven for eternity. How fortunate we are.
That's right.
Now, Adam and Eve were cast out of the garden. People say, well, they didn't die, yet a lot of things died. The relationship they had with the world, the relationship they had with God, the relationship they even had with each other was just totally messed up and died. And ultimately they, of course, died. They lived a long life, but they died because that's the way of the world now. If you are born, you're going to die. And so we see this from the beginning. And here's what we have to do. We have to listen well to the blood of Abel and do what is right. Cain killed Abel, but his blood, it says, still cries out to God. So the blood is saying, here's who I am, your blood. Here's who I am. I am a good man or I am an evil man. And when you die, you're going to be judged according to who you are at that time. Look, don't be fooled. You're not going to be able to live a long life and be able to, all of a sudden, the minute that it comes time to death, turn to God and say, oh, I'm sorry, God, let me do all the things I'm supposed to do so that you will save me. Very few are fortunate to do that. Very few. And it could be that you don't have the opportunity to be baptized at that point. I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought they had round bells over there. But no, I think that's the house or something. But, what we know is that the blood of Abel is still crying out today to you and to me. Do what is right. This is the way of Abel. Nothing has ever changed with God. Did rules change? Yes. Did the earth change? Yes. Did the sacrifice change? Yes. Did the sacrifice once for all change? Yes. But nothing's ever changed, and you do what God commands, or you are doing evil. That's it. Period. So we understand that. Now, we would know that obedience to God's command is the true sign of our love to God. And that doesn't make it easy. I was sitting in the car waiting on my wife to get out of Goodwill. This is a common occurrence for me. And there was a lady who came out of the store, and she was pushing a wheelchair, and the wheelchair had an older woman who was very messed up physically, and behind her were a couple of probably middle-aged people who were yapping and talking like little kids, and I understood that she was working with them in a group home and had brought them to buy things, and one that was a little bit older had bought a teddy bear and so on, whatever they had. I watched her as she went to her van, and she stopped and let the woman in the wheelchair sit there, and she takes the two others and puts them in their seats and tells them, buckle your seatbelts. She goes to the back, she pulls the wheelchair lady in, and as the thing lifts, you can see her bend over and pull her inside, and she gets her all buckled up and secure. She comes out the back door, she goes to the back and shuts up the back where the lift closes up, and she closes the door and she gets in her car. And let me tell you something, folks, she was kind to those people. What was she doing? She was doing what was right, even though nobody told her. I wanted to go tell her, but I figured if I pulled up and said, hey lady, she'd be scared because there's this guy hollering there from a car. But I wanted to tell her, thank you for caring for these innocent people. And here's what we do. We do what is right. We follow the way of Cain. Blessed are all who fear the Lord and walk in obedience to Him. Notice, down through time, this is Psalms, other scriptures, even into the Gospels, that's all we hear. Do what God commands. Why? Because that's the way God created you to be. That's the laws He has, and He wants you to be just like Abel and sacrifice yourself properly before God to the world. Make an acceptable sacrifice. Now let's go over to Jude. This is the last book before Revelation. Easy to find that way. Jude only has one chapter, so we don't normally say Jude chapter 1. People get confused about that. Let's take a look at Jude verses 5 and 6, and then we're going to skip down and read 11 through 13. Okay, 5 and 6. Though you already know all this, I want to remind you that the Lord delivered his people out of Egypt, but later destroyed those who did not believe. And the angels, who did not keep their position of authority, but abandoned their own home, these he has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on that great day. Let's look over verse 11 and through 13. Woe to them who have taken the way of Cain. They have rushed for profit into Balaam's error. They have been destroyed in Korah's rebellion. These men are blemishes at your love feast, eating with you without the slightest qualm. Shepherds who feed only themselves. They are clouds without rain, blown along by the wind, autumn trees without fruit, and uprooted twice dead. They are wild waves of the sea, foaming up their shame, wandering stars for whom blackest darkness has been reserved forever. How are you listening? What do you know? What do we hear from these verses? What you know, you already know. From the beginning of time, be faithful to God. There isn't anything else. You already know what to do. The problem is we get busy with life. Now, I don't know that lady who took those people to the van. I don't know if she's a Christian. I know she's being faithful to her job, but I don't know if she's being faithful to her God. Are you? How is it going? Are you doing the mundane things day after day after day? But have you made it your practice to be faithful? Faithful, faithful, faithful. Like the light bulb you turn on. And it shines and it shines and it shines. So when you come in, you know you're safe, there's nobody there, you know where all the furniture is. Poor Bill the other day, they moved his furniture, he didn't realize it, and went to sit down and fell and hurt his back. He can't see. But we need to be people who help the world see God. See the glory of God. So be faithful. And you already know to do this. The problem with it is we get into life and we get so tired of doing the same things over again that we think, why should we be faithful to God? I can't see Him. I've already forgotten Him. I don't remember. You can't do that. Don't follow the way of the world. If you follow the way of the world, what that means, you are following ideas and concepts and thoughts and hopes and beliefs that the world has. I feel so sorry for the world. They sit there and talk to you and they throw out 3 or 4 controversial ideas claiming that it's all the same and going to work together. I'll explain a little more in a little bit. Here's what you've got to do. You've got to decide for you yourself. You're going to walk alone and you're going to do what is right. You cannot follow the lies. You must follow the truth. You cannot be the way of Cain. You must be in the way of Abel. You must do as God has commanded, so that you do not fall in the pit, everlasting life of torment. We understand that here. Are we understanding that here? Are we keeping our hearts faithful to God? Lies? The lies of the world? Hey, you don't have to do that. I mean, how many times do you really have to go to church on Sunday? Really? That's the lies, the way of the world, the way of Cain. And the truth? That's the way of Abel. That's the way that Abel has set for us. That's the example from the beginning that we got in order to be able to do what was right. So we have to make sure we do it. Woe to those whose actions reject God and worship Satan. Did you hear that? I didn't say just reject God. But if you reject God, you're also worshiping Satan. Isaiah says, woe to them who call evil good and call good evil. You know, we have a lot of people today who call evil good. And what is good evil? They'll come out and protest. They don't protest properly. They don't consider that this is somebody's property, that I don't have a right to deal with it. They'll just burn it. They'll destroy it. They'll do anything. And who is it that destroys? Who gives pain and suffering? That's Satan, not God. So you have to be careful and not follow them. And here's what you say to that. Wait a minute. I can't do that. I can't do that. That's not who I am. I can't follow the way of Cain. I can't afford it. Now tonight, we're going to be talking about as a man thinks. You may find this very interesting. We're going to take a look at the Bible, see how it functions, how God tells you to think and to feel and to act. Hope you join us for that. So let's talk about the last part. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. It's a simple verse. But you know, simple verses, simple statements can be very profound and can make a huge difference in your life. Somebody can come up to you and make a statement that devastates you, and you hold on to it all your life. Or somebody can come up to you and give you a word, and it builds you up, and you want to make them proud by your actions for the rest of your life. So let's read 1 Timothy 4, verse 7 together. Have nothing to do with godless myths and old wives' tales. Rather, train yourself to be godly. Now, look at what he said. Have nothing. Look at the word nothing. It is no thing. Have no thing to do with godly myths. You can't afford to fall for them. They can always say, oh, how cute. Let's go over and have our reading done. We're at this fair, you know. Everybody's eating cotton candy and making themselves sick and corn dogs. let's go do a little reading. Why not? We're here. It doesn't mean anything. Or what about witches and Wiccan and all that sort of stuff? I know people who are involved in that who call themselves Christians. And they want to make sure that everything they do is kind of colored a little bit with their idea of witches. You know, we've got Halloween coming up. And everybody just loves Halloween. Well, they're going to make themselves all spooky, and they're going to be involved in that, and they're going to make sure that everybody's watching horror movies, stuff like that. Let me tell you something. Have nothing to do with these godless myths, with these concepts and ideas. What about the third eye, or the all-seeing eye? Haven't you heard people say to you before, well, you just haven't opened your third eye? You can't understand. You haven't been enlightened. You know what they call it today? We're woke, they say. What about asking the universe for something? Turn to the universe. Have it. It'll all line up. It'll all work out. There was a famous man. His name is Dwayne Dyer. He's famous for talking about the universe and talking about how everything works together. And he says, you know what? Here's what I do. When I drive out of my driveway and I want to go to Walmart, that shows even the rich go to Walmart. I haven't been to Walmart in over a year and a half. But he's driving there, he says to the universe, give me a parking place up close. And he pulls in, and sure enough, there's a car backing up, and he just pulls right in there. The universe is a bunch of stones flying around and can't do a thing for you. They're hard, cold, and uncaring. And they were created by God for beauty and consistency of life here on earth. Mr. Elon wants to go to Mars. He just lives for that. Every time you listen to him, he says, oh man, wouldn't it be great to live on Mars? Why? There ain't nothing there. There's no air, there's no food, there's no animals, no trees. If you like the color red, I guess you're all right. Why would you want to live there? And he shows the little dome cities and everybody. And I'm thinking, no! Do you know how long gaskets live? Or, what's that stuff? Caulking? Oh my goodness. No! It's gonna leak. And how do you create oxygen out of nothing? You've got to have it brought to you. What are you doing? People ask the universe to take care of it. Don't be a fool. Oh, what about all the chakras getting in order and everything? And well, let me tell you, Hindu religion is not a true religion. And there may have been some great looking people and great looking stories and everything about that. And they may be able to do all kinds of acupuncture and whatever. But that isn't godly. And you have to make sure you're not part of it. Oh, what about voodoo? You know, wouldn't you love to have a pin of a dummy of your husband every once in a while and stick some pins in it? Voodoo is real. Now, do people have powers from Satan? Maybe. people have issues. I tell you what, if you're under the power of God, you don't have to worry about somebody sticking a pin in a stupid stuck dog. And boy, we think it's spooky. We love to see it all. But you know, you go down to New Orleans, and they do all their dances and stuff as they're going, what's it called, Mardi Gras. And the girls out there pulling up their shirts with their selves hanging out, and they get a whole bunch of necklaces. And you see people driving down the road so proud. They've got these necklaces hanging from their mirror, and you know what they have done. You know what they've done? They follow the world. They're after the way of Cain. You've got to have nothing to do with these myths. And that's not all. What about all the denominations out there that tell you how to get to God, and they are lying to you? They are taking parts of Scripture out. They're not telling you the truth. And they're claiming to be Christians, and they are not. And you'll notice on the front of your bulletin, I put a picture today. This is not Christian. Infant baptism, in all these different areas. Careful! Don't follow the ways of the world. Don't let them lead you where you can't go. Because when you get there, you're going to find yourself in hell, not in heaven. You don't want to be there, and I don't want you to be there. And let me tell you something. I don't want to be there either. I want to go to heaven and take as many people with me as I can when I go. In fact, I want to be standing in line for ice cream or something. Maybe ribs. I don't know. And somebody will come up to me and bump me and say, "Hey, thank you that you said this." And I don't even know them. But you know what? Somebody had heard it, and they told somebody. And let me tell you, there'll be a whole bunch of people there that you have led to God by living a faithful life to Him. Don't be fooled by denominations. A denomination means a part of the whole. Don't go for the part, go for the whole. You want the whole gospel. Work hard to train yourself to be a godly child. What this means is it's hard work. This is something you have to do, and nobody sees it. It's up to you. It's your own personal stuff. Only you can see it, and only you can do it. Only you and God know you've done it. When you send off a check to some company that's going to help somebody, like the disaster relief or the mountain, home, children's home, mountain, whatever it is. Mountain States Children's Home. Or any other work like that. You're working hard. You're taking your time that you have lived with, sweat for, and you're taking that and giving it to somebody else. Here's my time that I live, and I give it to you so you can live. Hard work, but you're showing yourself approved before God. You're doing what is right. You're being the person you're supposed to be. But be careful. Don't forget, Judgment Day is coming. It's just around the corner. Oh, GW. Jesus said that, and it's been 2,000 plus years since then. What are you talking about? You don't know when you die. You don't know when you die. You won't know when that is. But when you die, you're stuck wherever you are. Period. Be careful. Hold on to your life. Sweat these things. Cry over it. Pray about it. Study it out. Make sure that you're a godly person. Make sure that you're a person that is going to be able to go through Judgment Day and hear the beautiful voice of God saying, "Welcome home, my good and faithful servant." Here's what I've got planned for you. You ever go over to your grandmother's house, and you get to your grandmother's house, and you say, "I'm coming, Grandma. I'll be there about 3 o'clock. You get there about 3 o'clock, and you get out of the car. It's not really what you want to do, but you win. And you go to the door, and she busts out the door, and she hugs you. "Oh, it's so good to see you, grandson. Come on in." You can smell the aromas. She's been working all day long for you. Let me tell you what I got planned this evening that we're going to do. I can just imagine. When we get to heaven, the smells, the glory, the wonder, the beauty, the events that are going to happen, the parades will be in, the angels will be singing and serving us, the food, whatever. It's going to be unbelievable. God says that you can't even fathom it. Here's the question. Today, right now, are you ready? Are you ready if today, for some weird reason, unbeknownst to you and me, the air conditioner's up there in the ceiling falls out and hits you, and you're dead? Or you go get in your car to go home, and you have a car wreck, and you're dead. Or you eat something, and it doesn't sit right with you, and you live in a hospital bed for 10 months, and you're dead. And during that 10 months, you can't even think. One time there was a boy, a young man, he was 19. And where we went to church, there was a store back there across the parking lot. So all the kids said, "Hey, let's go to the store." So they had this car. And you know, cars used to be wider than they are now. And so everybody piled in and everybody piled on. And it had this wide trunk. And one kid slipped off, hit his head, and he was never right again. Let me ask you, if your head was hit and you couldn't choose heaven or hell again, and you had to live a long life, are you ready? Are you ready to meet the Savior? If not, now's the time. Don't put it off. If you're not baptized, let's get that done. If you need prayers of forgiveness, let's pray them with you. If you need to be encouraged, let's encourage you. Whatever your needs are, you can come forward as we stand and we sing this song.